Thank you, Herbert.
Yes, I must unshare
think
my.
holistic.
Yeah.
Wow, what a beautiful abstract of what we can do, and also taking in consideration physical aspect. In my mind, I thought to water not in a. I think that if air temperature is growing, the ocean and lakes and water all over the earth will evaporate faster. And then I find in an article that this is true, that the cycle of water increased the speed. It rains faster and more, and this could go on faster and faster, the cycle of water, and this cycle consumes a lot of energy. And another aspect I thought about.
Yeah, but the energy is not lost. You know, the energy stays there and it's transferred somewhere. And we don't destroy energy. Energy is released again. You know, and that's what's harming some people. You know, that's harming the people who live in the tornado alleys. You know, that's harming the people who live, for instance, in the Ahr Valley in Germany, where you had this last year's very torrential rainfalls and runoffs. You know, and so on. You know, that's what's linked with it, you know, and we should not deal with it, let's say, in a way that it is harmless, you know. Water vapor is a very, very powerful energetic carrier. Yes.
But the higher the temperature, the more vapor you have in the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the thing again. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And to get higher temperature also for turning over more solar energy.
Yeah,
you know, absorbing more solar energy is also something. Yeah.
What nature did, in fact, it is to transform this energy in biodiversity. And this be the final goal that humans should have: increase biodiversity, help nature to increase biodiversity, let the movement go on farther and farther with more and more biodiversity on planet Earth. But this is not what we are doing now, but a little with Jean-Christophe and Ines in their presentation were going in this direction. I saw this message in their presentation. And
Augusto, but you are right, but this is only the surface. We should not increase biodiversity because of biodiversity. We should increase biodiversity because fallback functions, the plan B. Yeah, the biodiversity covers the plan B. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. And this is probably a problem Jean-Christophe has, because they mix plants together, but without a functional effect. Or I don't know if we are able to mix, for example, weight of different.
I think mixing plants, you know, of one genus, that's already something. But mixing plants of different genera and so on. For instance, going towards agroforestry. That's one of my special favorites, you know. Having more structure, having more carbon in the system, you know, but making the system also more resilient against climatic change and so on, you know. A bit that's also increasing biodiversity, and it's also increasing the resilience, you know, and the productivity, and it's kind of you know, a security net, you know.
And we are talking about agroforestry and agroecology, but when we are going to our colleagues in Central Africa, little villages, they are already doing agroecology by mixing everything from millenniums, from decades, from centuries. So they are already doing that, and they are changing from year to year. So I think we have to get back to the lessons they know by practicing that.
Yeah, but I have one thought to Gian actually about agroforest and also Herbert, because we are trying to spread agroforest as much as possible here in tropical, especially in the Amazon, and we are talking to the farmers to try to use this cocoa-based agroforestry with bigger shaded trees and also bananas, cassava, which are maize. And try to do this agroforestry. It's super good that as Herbert said, that because you increase the biodiversity, you try to mimic the forest, you know, the natural forest. But one thing, Gian, that I would like to not ask it to you, but your thoughts about, because here one thing is that for the farmer, they like a lot the idea, you know, they know that they can get more productivity because the forest, let's say, cocoa in the agroforest produce more than cocoa in, you know, like only cocoa. But the one thing here, especially in tropicals, is that the labor work, because they say, okay, it's very good, but I need to deal with now with cocoa, with banana, with the big trees, and I have too much work to do. So they just start to agroforestry. It's a good idea, but then they try to, you know, to abandon some groups because too much work to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's there must be also some innovation in agroforestry. It must be adapted to the different climatic zones, and it must be also to the socio-cultural structure. You know, you can't do the small scale agroforestry you see in, for instance, in East Africa, in Tanzania with the Chaka people. They have beautiful agroforestry, very well designed and so on. But you can't transfer this and say, European farmer do this, you know. They don't have the labor force, they don't have the machinery, etc., you know. So it needs a lot of innovation and experimentation to find practices, you know, adopted to the geoclimatic zone and so on, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that it's our reality here, it's technical assistance, because we lack a lot of technical assistance. So the farmers, I mean, it's a huge country, you know. So sometimes you can get a car and go like 1 hour to visit one farmer. Between two farms, you get from car 1 hour to visit another farm. So it's very distant. So to bring the technical assistance is another challenge. We need to this kind of innovation. Some parts they not have access to internet also well, so it's trying to difficult to spread the information. And another thing that is Zanella put in the beginning that I would like consider, because we are such good to public papers, we do this very well. But to transform the information of a paper to a farmer, we still need to struggle with this. You know, we still need to get some innovations to transform this information to get the people know about what you're talking about.
Herbert, I was thinking to the battery of our phone is a sort of a storage of energy we have in our phone.
Yeah.
Then if we have a lot of battery, even for car, for trucks, for everything, we would like to transform our mobile in tools that need electricity, even everything. So is this energy that is stored in continuously stored, and is this energy kept away from the air, from the system? Probably it is one. No,
no, it's not.
no.
I mean, it's released again. You know, the energy we store in the battery, you know, first of all, when we store it in the battery, we get a lot of waste heat. You know, if you charge a battery, you know that there is already only a little part is going into storing some electricity there. The major part is going into heating. You know, the transformer is heating, the battery is heating up while it's storing, you know, and so on. This is one thing. This is already the waste, and then when you utilize these things, you know, if you do work, you are needing the energy to do work, you know, and this work also impacts the environment, you know. No, energy is not waste. I mean, we call energy waste, you know, but energy is not wasted. Energy is staying in the environment, you know.
Yes, probably we heat.
And I think the
more
things,
than we store energy.
the human wishful thinking is that you know, we concentrate on one thing, and then we got it licked, and we can as some of the guys said, when we do hydrogen fuel, then we can travel, you know, more than ever, because it's emissionless. That's what they say. You know, that's what the what's you know, the journalists are talking about this as emissionless. Have you ever lived in the vicinity of a highway? You know, even if you take away the exhausts and everything, you have lots of emissions from human traffic on a highway. It's sound emission, it's dust emission, and so on. You know, and this has a lot of health problems and whatsoever. Yes.
Yes, yes.
I think, Augusto, we have already also parallel a wordly and a written discussion, in the chat, and and I think we are multidisciplinary, multitasking, and I like to draw your attention also to the written part.
Yes, there is a lot of.
Yeah.
But I see that agriculture is going, well, in part in agroforestry. That is going on in Italy too, a little, and all over the world. But the most important agriculture that feed humans is becoming a sort of greenhouses field, large field, and controlled. So this is something that I asked Ines, for example, that this soil, this type of culture can possibly be the future of the agriculture of planet Earth. are greenhouses specialized, controlled by humans, by robots. That is what is going on. I saw some of these large farming in Spain. I saw this, and they present this agriculture as possible in the future, as the future agriculture. They say human will live in large town, and then have these greenhouses in outdoor, in large space, and cultivate what we need and be fed with this fruit, with this. Is this a possible future for humanity? From a point of view of health and...
Maybe yes, but it is not a future we wish. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as
is it possible?
It would be generally possible, but consider all the material you have there, you have to use there, all the things you have to transport there in, all the energy you have to use there to make this plant production has to derive from somewhere. And this would be way more energy than growing plants in the open field. So if this is the future, it's also included that we will need much more energy in the future than we need now. Is this something we are looking for? I guess not. So technically possible is a lot. You know, you can even cultivate your maize in the non-gravity in orbit of Earth, yeah, if you like. But to transport the plants up and the harvest down, you will consume the same energy than you produce maize on a continent. Yeah? Okay, so it is possible, but things that are possible are not necessarily good. And this is not a good plan. I'm afraid of that we are polluting our environment to a certain degree that we may not escape such a scenario. But this will be a horror scenario because with the available energy, and also looking forward to when fossil resources become so scarce that the price is going skyrocket, that in this future we will not even have the energy to produce the same amount of yield of harvest than we do now. So this altogether is an equation that is totally out of control. So Augusto, if your future is to make everything in greenhouses, enclosed biospheres, this is also an imagination of science fiction authors, enclosed biosphere, yes, in about the same energy consumption we have today, we may feed 100 million people globally. And the rest, okay, will die. Maybe also this is a solution. Yeah? Okay. So think on everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's sometimes Inês, it's kind of crazy. Like here in Brazil, we have this great capital called São Paulo. It's a huge, big capital, and São Paulo has at least 30% of its territory as a degraded pasture. But the city now is trying to support vertical farms to produce. So it's kind of, they spend more energy, they spend more cement, more everything, and then they have 30% of the land with degraded pasture, just to use that, just to recover that. But they, they want to navigate in this wave of the like the farms, the vertical farms, and they put all for this. It's kind of funny. Yes. And I have actually one question about this, Inês, because now, okay, your presentation is super good, and the one thing is like when you go to the farmer, you can say everything to the farmer, like everything, but the question they will do to you is how much are you getting with this? how much how much money are you keep to do this producer or everything. They don't care about you do everything at the farm. At least it's how much will you gain with this. And now we have this kind of money, put money in carbon, like to put more carbon to put money. Do you think this is a good thing to do? Try to put carbon as our money change for group, because they're just crazy about the carbon. They say, I can gain money with the carbon. You do everything you want if I gain money with this. But I don't see if it's a good way to put price in the crops, through the carbon.
No, it is for sure not a good way. I'm participating in a project proposal we submitted Tuesday this week, so only some days ago, about exactly the possibilities of carbon capture and carbon capture utilization options. And finally, it melts down already at the proposal stage. It melts down that you need a minimum of 40% of the energy which you have produced for the same amount of carbon dioxide to bind. So to bind the carbon dioxide you released before, you now need for those processes not 100% of the fossil fuel, you need now 140%. Yeah? So what is the logic there? Yeah? So to even release much more of the energy and carbon than before, and also to reply a little bit to Herbert Hager, I would really love to see wet, dark soil, but in an environment that will allow the temperature control aside from reflection, albedo, and water vapor absorption. Yeah. I'm sorry, I have a nasty telephone and it doesn't stop. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was not abrogating, that you should have a healthy and rich in humus soil. I only see that, it's like you take the principle of the lever. What you gain in for instance in force, you lose in the stretch of road you have to go, and so on. That's the problem, and we have to value and think reflectively about these things. Yes, I'm not against humic soils. I favor them. And so on.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And one thing that is common for me nowadays is that the companies, talking about the companies so trying to get net zero, but when they start to talk, they will not want to cut emissions. They just want to offset emissions. And this is another problem, because you just put the climate change problem for the future. If you just, offset emissions and not cut actually emissions. We need to cut emissions, because without cutting emissions, I think we're not possible to reach the net zero. I'm absolutely not possible. If just to offset is not enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we
finally see a shrinking crowd.
Yes.
5 o'clock.
Yes, tomorrow we will show you how to reduce the emission, and if you will see a real case of people trying to reduce emission tomorrow. Rendezvous at tomorrow morning. We start at 10:30 with a group of Australian people who are fighting against climate change. Then we have a Belgian researcher. She is looking at forest at the European level, how we can manage forests to improve the accumulation of carbon in forest. And we have even an Ukrainian professor that will, I invited Elina. She is working in Ukraine in this moment, difficult moment, and to see also this aspect of the human behavior. And it is in the afternoon that we will present the results we had in Albarella. So,
Okay.
Okay.
ciao,
Bye-bye.
nice to.
Ciao.
It was
Okay, thank you.
beautiful.
And
I
everybody
think
who
it
finds
was
the
complex.
time to look the video of Albert Bartlett, I really can recommend. It's a really, really good spent hour. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
So,
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
thank you, Ines. Bye.
Ciao.